I'd like to start with some basic commands. If you want to take notes, you can, but I'll be repeating them as we go and placing little notes on the screen to help you out. Okay, we got our blank canvas. First thing I want to show you is the line tool. I'm going to go ahead and click on this icon right here. It looks like a pencil. And click on that to activate your line tool, or you can press the letter L as a shortcut. Okay, go ahead and click up here in this upper left-hand side of your screen, click and release. And with each of our tools that we use, we are going to click and release unless I say otherwise. That will activate each tool. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and manipulate this line around. You can see, if you just drag it gets longer. And it also has these really handy snap to features right here. It'll snap to each axis down there, when it's straight, and down there. Okay, you can also see in this bottom right-hand corner the information about the line, the length. You can see as you drag it right here, it gets longer, pull it back in, it gets shorter. Okay, so let's go ahead and click and release. You can see that it creates an extension off of that one. Go ahead and click and release. And now I'd like to make a rectangle, so I'd like it to line up with this point right here. So I'm going to hover over my beginning point, and it has a really great snap to feature. So I'm going to let it snap and snap straight, and click and release. Click and release. Okay, so that lined up perfectly. So now we've got our rectangle. I'd like to show you our rectangle tool, but first I'd like to delete this rectangle that we just drew. There's a couple different ways you can do that. You can use your eraser tool and erase each line, and that will erase it. You can press Command Z 4 times to undo each of those actions. Or you can use your select tool, which is this arrow, and select the whole thing and delete it. I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can press this arrow, or you can press your space bar. And I go ahead and click and drag to select it. Select it all and press delete. Now it's gone. Okay, so let's move on to our rectangle tool. Go ahead and press on this rectangle right here. Click the rectangle with the red diagonal line through it, or you can click or press the letter R for rectangle for your shortcut. Okay, so let's go ahead and click right here. All right, now you've got a rectangle. You can see down here in the bottom right the dimensions of the rectangle. You've got your width first, width, and then comma, depth. So you got your width, you bring it down, you can see the depth growing. So we're going to go ahead, and I want it to be a really specific size rectangle. So I'd like it, let's say 300 feet by 300 feet. So before you click and release, go ahead and type 300. You can see the information going into that information bar down below. 300 apostrophe for the feet. You're going to go comma 300. So we've got 300 feet by 300 feet, and then click enter or return. All right, now we've got our perfectly square 300 foot by 300 foot. And let's say I want it to fill up the screen. I want to zoom in a little bit. Maybe it's off to the corner here in an awkward way. So first I will show you the zoom tool. You can do that a number of ways. You can click on this magnifying glass, or you can press Z for zoom. You can click on your screen, drag upward, and it will zoom in. Downward, zoom out. You can also, if you're on a MacBook Pro or anything else with a trackpad, you can likely use that. On a MacBook Pro, it's 2 fingers. I'm going to go ahead and hit select to show you. I'm going to press my space bar to activate the select tool. And with 2 fingers, I drag up on my trackpad, zooms in, 2 fingers, goes down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in with that. If you're on a mouse, if you're using a mouse, you can use the scroll wheel to zoom in. If you scroll forward, it will zoom in, scroll backwards, zoom out. Okay, so now I've got my rectangle filling most of the screen here, but it's off to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the pan tool. And that's this hand icon right up here. You can click that, or you can press H for your shortcut. If you click and drag, you can pan or move your screen around. And you're going to put it somewhere here right in the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect. So you can see if you click and drag, you can play with it a little bit and drag it around. All right, so now we know how to pan, we know how to zoom. I'm going to show you the move tool now. So let's go to select. You can either click on this or you press your space bar. Go ahead and select the middle. We'll activate or highlight the middle of this rectangle or our square. And go up here to this icon that has 4 arrows pointing each direction. That's our move tool. You can click that or you can press the letter M to move. Go ahead and click and release and you've grabbed on. You're not moving your screen around, you've grabbed on to this rectangle and you're moving it around the area. So we can move it over here and we can click and release to let go. We can move it over here, click and release to let go, click and release to grab onto it. So go ahead and put it back in the middle somewhere. Actually, let's put it in the middle of our axis area and we'll pan over to it. Clicked on that on the hand to pan over. Click and release, or click and drag. All right, so we've got it in the middle. Still got the middle selected. I want to show you how to move one of these sides inward. So click on this arrow to select, or your space bar. So instead of selecting the middle, I'm going to select an edge. Might take a little practice. You might have to zoom in, but you select the edge, not the middle. You can see this line is in blue, and now go ahead and press the move tool, 4 arrows, or the letter M, and go ahead and click and release, and now you've grabbed this edge. You can go outward or inward. You can go this way, and you can go that way too, but generally, because we're building a floor plan, you're not going to be doing any of this or this. Okay, so it moves inward. And if you can't keep it straight, you can always press your shift bar, and it will keep it straight. I can't move it this way while I'm pressing the shift bar. Okay, so now I'd like it to be moved inward, let's say 100 feet. So I'm just going to go inward just a little bit, and I'm going to type in 100 feet and press enter. All right, now it moves inward 100 feet. So now I'd like to show you my very favorite tool, which is the tape measure. All right, so let's go ahead and unselect that. Click anywhere outside of the surface. All right, my favorite tool, the tape measure. So go ahead and you can see it. It looks just like a tape measure up here, or you can press the letter T. This is great because you measure so much when you're designing. So I'm going to go ahead and click and release on one of the edges or one of the lines here and bring it down. Now let's go ahead and measure 200 feet. So just go ahead and, before you click and release it, write in 200 feet and then press enter. Now from here to here is 200 feet. Now to practice our move tool again, let's go ahead and press our space bar or this arrow. Click on this bottom line right down here and select your move tool or the letter M. Click and release and drag it up to your tape measure. It'll snap to that line. All right, so now I've got our 200 by 200 square again. Okay, so now I want to delete this tape measure line. So go ahead and click on your eraser or E and delete that. Now it's gone. So that is by far my most used and favorite tool, the tape measure, just because, like I said, you are measuring all the time. Okay, so now on to our floor plan.